What's up, Storm fans? Bryant Cook, and today we are playing Cycle Storm post-release of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and I am super thrilled today to be here, mostly to be playing Mirrorshell Crab, which is a 7 mana, so 5 and 2 blue, for a 5/7 artifact crab creature with Ward 3, which means if you want to target this creature with a spell or ability, it costs 3 more mana to target it because it has Ward 3. And then it has Channel for 2 and a blue, which means that you can discard this card from your hand to put the ability on the stack. It is not a spell, so it cannot be countered in the traditional sense. And then counter target spell or ability unless its controller pays 3 mana. So what does this mean? Why is this good? Well, one, it's a creature for Songs of the Damned and Reaping the Graves, which is pretty sweet. It's a thick creature for Exhume, which is something I'm personally really excited about. But this creature also counterspells creatures. So unlike Duress, Dispel, Spell Pierce, it hits Spellstutter Sprite, which is a huge benefit, which is a weakness of the Storm archetype otherwise, because if you're not running Mirrorshell Crab, you're forced into running Pyroblast, because nothing else is really good enough. Yes, you can run garbage cards like Despise, but Mirrorshell Crab and Pyroblast are really what you want to be playing. But on top of that, Mirrorshell Crab counterspells the activation of Relic of Progenitus or abilities such as Bojuka Bog. It's very, very good. And I am excited today to be testing out Mirrorshell Crab. And because we're testing it, we're running the full complement. We're running 4 copies of Mirrorshell Crab with 4 Exhume to get that thick crab into play. That's my goal today. I want to counter a relic and then put that thick crab into play and just beat down. It's a 5/7, so it even beats up things like Gurmag Angler. It's huge. I love it. So really, really excited to be playing Crab today. And because we have Crab, we are returning to Architects of Will. We're returning to the consistent cycler. No worrying about blue mana with Striped Riverwinder. We're just going to play Architects and accept that we have 8 creatures between our main deck and sideboard to reanimate. And we want to be consistent game 1. That's the game plan. Other than that, the main deck is pretty much the same as my challenge winning list, but I did make the change from the video that I mentioned where I'm running the first copy of Blood Celebrant over the 4th Lotus Petal. And speaking of my challenge winning deck list, if you have not watched that video already, it's in the card above. Go watch it. It's really, really popular here on this channel. It's currently the 5th most watched video on this channel. And maybe by the time you see this, I'm not sure, it might be in number 4. We're only a couple hundred views behind it. It's gaining hundreds of views every day, which is really, really sweet. People love it. They love watching that perfect 10-0 run with Cycle Storm. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go check that out. The video is a blast. I promise you, a lot of exciting gameplay there. But today we are running this main deck. And then in the sideboard, we're leaning a little bit heavier on the green splash. So Mirrorshell Crab is really good at countering Relic and Bojuka Bog, but we also have Dissenter's Deliverance, which is just a really effective way of beating Relic of Progenitus. Yes, we have the Mirrorshell Crab. You could argue that maybe you should be mono blue or just blue-black, whatever. That's what I meant. But maybe you don't need the green. But Dissenter's Deliverance just does such a good job of answering Relic that I want to be playing that today. It's just so affordable, and you can cast it on turn 2. I think it's going to be good. The next card I'm not so familiar with is Moment's Peace. I've actually never played it in Cycle Storm. You could play Darkness or even Spore Frog over it. Spore Frog is weak to Gut Shot, which is why we moved away from it. And the Bogles decks are all playing 2 to 4 copies of Gut Shot now, so it's a little bit of liability. And Darkness is fine, but Moment's Peace is double Darkness, so that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if we even want this slot, but I couldn't think of anything better to play. And you might notice this deck list does not have Pyroblast. That's because it's really hard to Splash the Mountain and Pyroblast in this deck list while also playing Mirrorshell Crab and Exhume, because against the blue decks, we want to bring in these 6 cards. If you're also bringing in the Mountain and Pyroblast, what are you cutting? It just doesn't make sense. So we're going to play this today, see how it goes, and I'm just so excited. I really do mean that, to be playing Mirrorshell Crab today. I've been waiting for this ever since the card was spoiled. I hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. That said, there's no better way of showing your support than becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks, and we get to keep making combo content. The perks get better and better each level you go up. They also stack. To start off, with our Storm Fan tier, you unlock our private members section of our Discord, which comes with a highlighted user profile and then some awesome badges and emotes for YouTube. Looking for Cyborg help? Become a Stormtrooper, our middle tier, for 2 Cyborg guides of your deck choice every single month, on top of 50% off donation decks. Did we mention you also get 10% off merchandise from our shop? With our top tier, the Combo Cabal, you get a free donation deck every single month, 15% off merchandise from our shop, early access to private deck lists, and the most valuable perk in my opinion, videos early. That's right, you heard it, early access to all videos. But maybe sweet perk, secret deck list, early access to videos isn't for you, but you'd still like to show your appreciation. Make sure to check out theepicstorm.com/shop for card singles and Storm swag. Please don't forget to use your membership discounts. Finally, if you want to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel, make sure to visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks, where all you have to do is attach your TXT file and pick a donation tier. With our Epic tier, you can even join me in a video to showcase your bold brew in person and explain the ins and outs of your strategy. Card availability won't be an issue due to our new sponsor, Card Hoarder. With Card Hoarder, renting is super easy. If you're looking to get into Magic Online, there isn't a better, more affordable solution than Card Hoarder. Fun fact, you can rent the Epic Storm for 7 tickets a week, which is just a great deal. There are many ways you can support us. Just pick whatever is best for you. In the meantime, let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the play, and we've opened up a playable hand. We're going to keep this. So I don't love that our land is Barrenmore, and we don't have a Reaping the Graves, but you don't ship hands with Rituals, Songs of the Damned, and Cyclers, so we're going to try it out. I mean, it is entirely possible that we just end up as a blue-black deck. Like, I'm not against that, because Crab technically does answer Relic and the like, but it's just not efficient. And I think you don't need to be playing Moment's Peace or even Dissenters, but the big card for playing green is Gnaw to the Bone. I don't feel like there's a good alternative to Gnaw. Like, yes, you can play Cyborg copies of Dihada's Ploy, but it's just not as effective in the matchups where you really want Gnaw to the Bone. So maybe you go pure blue-black, maybe you play Bug, you could go back to Grixis. There's a lot of opportunity for testing. They foretold a card, okay. I think I'm going to get a little wild here in Dark Ritual and Cycle. We're looking for land number 2. I want to make sure I hit it. Alright, so there's a Barrenmore that I'm not excited about. Let's cycle this healer. There's a Swamp. And I'm not going to cycle the Street Wraith, because there's no real reason to, and if we for reason get bogged, they are playing red-black. They could be just like Jund mid-range or something. So I don't want to get bogged, and there's just no reason to play into it. So to me, this looks like Affinity, but I could be wrong. Another foretold card. I don't know what that would be. And it also might not be Affinity. Who knows? We're looking for Reaping the Graves. Alright, a Horror of the Broken Lands. We'll cycle the Street Wraith at the start. Songs of the Damned, okay. Just give me a Reaping the Graves. Let's go. Architects, let's cycle. 9 cards in graveyard. Cabal Ritual. So no payoff spell. We're almost a third of the way through our deck. Another foretold card. Jeez. Draw. The Cardio Dino and Imposing Vantasaur. Cycle. For the Broken Lands, okay. Cycle that. We are now officially under a third. I'm sorry, we've seen a third, my bad, misspoke. Alright, 39 cards in deck, we have not found a payoff. But when we do, there's land number 4 for the opponent. Draw. Street Wraith, okay, let's go to 16 life here. Dark Ritual. Alright. Only so much we can do when we only draw rituals. It's worth noting, I've had it happen. The fourth foretold card. Okay, I've had it happen a couple of times where people are like, "Well, if you played Mystical Teachings, that you wouldn't have these draws." So I think that is something you're allowed to think, and that's not anything that's wrong. But the cards it's competing for, or that Teachings are competing for, we haven't drawn. It's not like we wouldn't be playing Lotus Petals and Cabal Rituals and the whatnot. I have to discard Dark Ritual here. The cards that it would be competing with are the second copy of the not Jihadist Ploy, Repository Scob, which we haven't even drawn yet, or Exhume, another card I haven't drawn yet. So that's my 2 cents. Jeez. All right, so we're gonna go down to 34 cards here and remove an island from the deck. All right, so they are the Jund midrange deck. So these are probably the Wolf, if I had to guess. Now that we know that they're playing green, this is probably the Pack Wolf or Pack Master, whatever it's called. Pack Mate. There we go. All right, what's going on here? They're paying costs. Geomancer's Gambit. Okay, so that puts the land into play untapped. And then they played another artifact land. So they have an untapped forest hidden over there behind my sideboard. All right, let's draw, see if we can finally hit a Reaping the Graves. Not so lucky. All right, so we just have to pass the turn. 33 cards left in deck, so we're almost halfway through, have not found our payoff. Great. So one thing to note about this deck is it is a deck that plays 4 copies of Galvanic Blast. So we're not in the clear quite yet. And in fact, we could be dead. The boarding party is 6. Packmate is 9. So we're dead to double Gav Blast here. All right, I'm at 7. There's 1. And here's 2. Or Lightning Bolt. I guess that works as well. So we just never drew an action spell. I mean, Scob wouldn't have been good there anyway because all I have is rituals. But in theory, it could have been a card that would have mattered if I wasn't dead. Halfway through, never found one. Kind of a bummer. All right, so now we board in the Forest and then the Dissenter's Deliverance. This is not a crab matchup in my opinion. This is a blow up Spellbomb matchup and then try to win. And in my experience, it's usually best to board out a couple copies of Architects. And then you can choose between the second island or a swamp or Barrenmoor. I'm going to do the second island. And in my opinion, you might want to like I'm still playing 2 copies of island today because of the Mirrorshell Crab, but you could go down to 1 island again because we're not playing Riverwinder. I think we have to mulligan this. It's just not good enough. Okay, I think we just bottom the Repository Scob. Keep. All right, Barrenmoor and pass the turn. That's what our first turn is going to be here. All right, play pass. Draw. Another Barrenmoor. Okay. So we're going to play it and pass the turn. Okay, so no Spellbomb or Relic. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith, see if we can hit another creature. No dice, but we can cycle the Barrenmoor at least. Dino, okay. Draw. I'm going to cycle the Dino now. We drew the Forest. So I could end up cycling the Dissenters here if I feel like I need to. I might if they don't do anything on their Cleansing Wildfire, okay. And they missed a land drop. That's interesting. I'm going to cycle the Dissenters here. I just feel like I need to hit more creatures for this Reaping the Graves. Songs of the Damned. 3 creatures is not enough. I can't try to win quite yet. If we drew, I don't know, 2 creatures next turn, I could start to think about it, but I wouldn't even love that idea. Going off with 5 creatures is pretty unlikely. Discards Cast Down. Draw. Not a creature. We're going to have to pass the turn here. Okay. Land number 4 from the opponent. Sure. That doesn't really matter. I don't even have any more green cards, so that's fine. Interesting that they went after my forest like that. Draw. I just need creatures. I do think you're supposed to board in the Dissenter's Deliverance over the Architects. So I'm not bummed about that. I'm more bummed that our draws haven't quite panned this match so far. In the Gambit. Okay, so they're trying to burn us out, essentially. Or not burn us out, like Ghost Quarter us out. And I'm just going to let that happen. So I was thinking there about casting Reaping the Graves and then cycling a few times, but I'm just better off waiting for more creatures. All right, so now we go to 16. All right, let's keep it going. So now we have 5. We can start to think about maybe going for it. All right, and I think now's our window. We're going to go for it. We have 6 creatures. And holy songs of the damn Batman. All right, so let's play our Lotus Petal. I'm going to cast one of these songs for mana. And then we're going to hold priority on the other 2. And actually, I don't need Chew on that one. I don't have to cast the other one quite yet. So I'm just going to cast the one, because that allows us to return every creature. And then return triple Street Wraith. Alright, all the creatures have been selected. Let's bring all of our friends. And it needs to make more than 6 mana for this to be a worthwhile play. And I imagine it will. Alright, cycling the Wraiths. Down to 8 life. We have to pay attention, there's songs number 4. To not go down to 4 life to be dead to the Gav Blast. Cycle Healer. Alright, I love the Repository Scob pickup. But once again, that's bad against Gav Blast right now. Okay. Keep it cycling. Another Scob, okay. That's actually pretty good. So we'll return a creature here, because that allows us to double Scob in the face of a Blast. And we can return this creature and then cycle. So this ended up making 4 extra mana. It was a free Culling the Weak. Alright, so now let's cycle. Oh, I actually don't have a land to go get. Yeah, we're out of basics. We can just play this. Alright, so I'm going to sacrifice this for a blue. Play Scob. It might not live. We have to be aware of that. Exploit. Ooh, we got to exploit. Okay. Let's return Songs of the Damned. Alright, play our Lotus Petal. And let's play another Repository Scob. Do I get to exploit again? Alright, return Reaping the Grave. The Storm is High. Songs. And I'm going to cast another one, but I'm going to hang on to songs number 4. And we get to bring everyone back with this Reaping the Graves. Okay, and I'm just going to return a whole bunch of cards. We don't need to return them one by one here because I have 24 floating mana. It's not going to be a concern. I do want to play Healer, though, so I can start cycling and gaining life, so that way we can use the Street Wraiths more effectively. So if we could find the 3rd copy of Lotus Petal or the Blood Celebrant, that would be ideal. Alright, let's start cycling. 23 mana. Dissenters. Okay. Cycling Dino. Let's get rid of these Stingers. We're not really in the Stinger phase quite yet, and there's a blue, or I'm sorry, a white sword. So we're gonna play out the Healer. Alright, let's cycle Stinger. Gain some life. Alright. So we're gonna auto yield to this. Cycle the Stinger again. Basically, we just never want to be in a position where we could die to Gav Blast. Alright, so we're gonna cycle a Street Wraith now because, you know, it's only 1 life to cycle effectively. And again, another Cabal Ritual, lovely. Cycle. Cycle this healer. 20 cards left in deck. Cast Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Might as well cycle the Baron more. Still 21 mana in pool. For the Broken Lands. Down to 18 cards. Right, so we're back at the point where Songs would have broken even if I had cast it pre-Reaping the Graves. Right? Up to 12. Exhume. Don't think I quite want to do that yet. I think we're just Reaping the Graves. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to cast Songs now. Alright. Bring all of our friends home. Okay. 15 cards left in deck. We just have to find the Blood Celebrant, and that'll be easy peasy. Alright, we're in the middle of returning all of our creatures. Our opponent is refusing to F6. I don't know if they have anything, because I'll be honest, like, if they had Galvanic Blast or Lightning Bolt or even Pyroblast, they should have cast it by now. So I'm not sure what their overall game plan here is, other than draining their own clock and making me less efficient at killing them. Alright, let's cycle. Keep it going. 14 cards left in deck. 13, 12. Cycle this horror. Have I drawn the Celebrant yet? Not quite. Okay, Dark Ritual. Cycle the horror. This brings us down to 10 cards. Cycle horror. Another Reaping the Graves. Let's cycle some Street Wraiths. It's fine. Alright, going down to 7 cards in deck. Cycle Street Wraith. We have not hit the Blood Celebrant yet. Songs. I'm sorry, not Songs. Cabal Ritual. Alright, we have still not hit the Celebrant. Not to worry though, I don't think that's actually going to be something that matters. Ploy. Cycle a healer, why not? This brings us down to 4. This brings us down to 3 cards in deck. Still no Blood Celebrant. It's probably like the bottom card of our deck. Down to 2. Street Wraith. This will bring us down to 1 card in deck. And there it is, our bloody little friend. We're going to turn off auto yields. And I'm gonna add a blue mana. Let's scob here. Okay, we will exploit and return songs. All right, make another blue, scob, exploit, return songs, why not? We have Reaping the Graves already. I just need to make sure that I have enough mana and cyclers in here. Alright, let's cast songs. 16 mana, 16 mana. And then we'll cast this, returning all the creatures that are in here, and then win the game. With 1 card in library, possibly 0, it doesn't really matter to me. We'll leave the repository scobs in there, because if I wanted to exhume them later, I could. Okay, just click through, trying to resolve this quickly. I needed to Reaping the Graves. I probably didn't need to go repository scob into songs, but I want to make sure I have enough mana anyway, and it doesn't hurt. I'm not going to time out. So just make sure I have enough mana to easily win the game. Okay, we're in the middle of resolving the Reaping the Graves. We have a thick hand, tons of mana floating, and now we play all of our pingers. And by pinger, I mean this Drannith Stinger. Okay. So they waited all that time for a Lightning Bolt. Cool. You could have bolted my repository scob and made winning more difficult, but it's fine. Alright, so all of our Stingers in play. shortly at least. We're gonna zoom that back. Our Stinger deserves to be on the battlefield. I stand by it. And now we just cycle for the win. We just have to cycle 5 times. Okay. Why not? I'll auto yield to that too. Not the draw. The draw doesn't get the auto yield. We only have 1 card in deck. We don't want to accidentally deck ourselves. Okay. We're healing and stinging. Healing and stinging. Alright. And now they go down to 4. And then down to 0. And we did that without ever drawing a card, because you can put the cycle on the stack, these triggers happen, and then you respond to the draw trigger from cycling. That's how that works. And that's game number 2. Now we just have to win game number 3. I'm fine leaving it as is. Alright, game 3 on the draw. And unfortunately, we're not very good at opening up lands today. So I think I'm going to ship this down to 6. You could risk it. You're on the draw. You have a Street Wraith. But I don't think the Exhume plan is that good here anyway. So we're going to mulligan. And this is just so much better. I think you just put back the Baronmoor and, do your thing. Keep bottom Baronmoor. Alright, and our opponent's gone to 5. In my experience, a lot of the time in post-board games, I'll have opponents go, okay, they can't beat Relic of Progenitus. I'm going to shuffle down to 3 cards, 4 cards, as long as I can get land Relic. I understand it is tough for us to beat, but that's one of the nice things about Dissenter's Deliverance, is if they do that, then you just go, okay, turn 2, I'll blow up your Relic or your Spell Bomb, and then move on with my day. And it just cycles so easily as well. Okay, we're going to go grab that 4. Cycle the Ash Barrens. Okay, draw. 4, okay, so we have a hand that's just chock full of cyclers, pretty sweet. Now we just need to put creatures in the graveyard and then, draw into our Songs of the Damned, our Reaping the Graves, all that good stuff. Llanowar Visionary. You got it. Alright, so end step will cycle this Horror of the Broken Lands. Cabal Ritual is not bad. Cycle Stinger. Songs, okay. I like where this is going. Baronmoor. I don't love that, but let's cycle the Dino here, see if we can hit land 3. And if... Okay. Unfortunately, I think I'm supposed to play... maybe... I'm gonna sit on it. I want to be able to cycle that. I think it's a little greedy to play the Baronmoor. We want to make sure we find that Reaping. Gambit, okay. So let's go grab the Swamp. I'm going to turn off auto yields, because now I can cycle the Baronmoor. Good deal. Thank you for helping me cycle. Into Reaping the Graves. You're too kind. Draw. They do have Weather the Storm up, but weather honestly just doesn't matter. People think it does. It doesn't. Alright, so... I'm wondering if I should cycle the Cabal Ritual, or play songs, and then... I'm making one song's worse, so that way I can keep open a cycle for Dissenters, or Scob, but I don't think that's the play. I think I should just cast Cabal Ritual and then cycle Vantasaur. Alright, and I was rewarded. Because now our songs are making more mana. And there's Scob. Alright, I'm putting a whole bunch of mana. Alright, so now we return some creatures. No copies of Street Wraith in there yet. 5 creatures coming back. Okay. Cycle. Cast that. I've yet to experience a Weather of the Storm that is so good that I can't beat it. So maybe our opponent has it now, but I doubt it. When you have 4 Stingers in your deck and the double Scob, it just, honestly, it does not matter. Cycling. Alright, so we need to hit a blue source. There it is. Cycle. Cycle. Ding dong. All right, we can return that. Cycle. We can cycle the healer as well. Keep it going, I guess. This was a pretty good draw 5. All right, so we'll play the Blood Celebrant songs. And play the Scob. And it's pretty obvious that they have Weather, by the way, because they didn't attack with the Visionary. There was no reason for them to leave back Visionary. Return songs. And we have the... I hate calling it this because when you're someone that's unfamiliar with the deck, you're like, it's so cool. You can go infinite with Repository Scob, Blood Celebrant, Songs of the Damned, Reaping the Graves, and a Drannith Healer. Yes. Times that matters, I haven't experienced it yet. And even though our opponent likely has a Weather the Storm in hand, we could beat that Weather the Storm without doing the cute infinite thing. I feel like the infinite thing is like one of the most BM things you can do with this deck, and by BM I mean bad manners. All right, so I'm going to pay a green here, go down to 15 and cycle this Dissenters and do a third copy. Okay. I'm just going to cast one for now. And Reaping the Graves. We're just going to return everyone that we can. We're going to end up leaving 2 in there. Okay, bring everyone back. And Storm 13 will be a Drannith Stinger. Alright, so now we play the Stinger. They'll respond with Weather the Storm, meaning that they'll gain 3 times 14, so quick math, 42 life. So they'll be at 64. That's very easy to beat. Alright, so they've decided that they think that they can gain more life. We're going to kill them with their Weather on the stack. Okay. Cycle. Actually, I should probably play another Stinger just to get them to cast it. Are you afraid of 2? You should be. Alright, so now we can just go ahead and... Okay. It was just so obvious that they had the Weather. Alright. This is going to be easy peasy. Even if for some reason we have to let Weather the Storm resolve, and I don't think we will, but if for some reason we didn't find the Reaping the Graves and we did, but if for some reason we let them gain 64 life, I could easily clear 64. I'm not actually worried about that. Alright, cycle this Baron more. 20 cards left in deck. Cycle this Imposing Vantasaur. Let's cycle the Ash Barons. We should have an island still in there. Grab that island. Cycle this Horror of the Broken Lands. Cycle this Healer. Cycle. And that brings us down to 3 mana. I'm just trying to pay attention to that so I don't run out. Pay a life here going down to 10. Cycle Dissenter's Deliverance. I have a green card that costs 2 as well. Alright. Cycle this. Going down to 13 cards in deck. Cycle Healer. I guess I can cycle. Songs. They're at 2. So unfortunately, this is going to seem like bad manners. I guess I could try to hit off the ploy. Let's see if I can do that. That way I don't have to... Reaping the Graves. Let's cast Ploy here. And I hit a Cycler. Cool beans. Alright, so I'm at 41. Cycle this Street Wraith. Never even needed a Reaping the Graves. Boom. We won the match, even after that kind of bad draw in game number 1. But we're 1-0, which is sweet. No Mirrorshell Crab yet. This wasn't the matchup for it. But we did get to see Dissenter's Deliverance a little bit. We didn't get to cast it, but we did get to cycle it very easily, which is one of the big things about it that I like over something like Wilt. Alright, enough of me blabbering. Let's head on over to match number 2. If you haven't joined them already, I would recommend opening up our description down below and joining our 7 social media networks. They're each great in their own way, but I would strongly suggest joining our Discord server. In there, you will find others just like you looking to improve their Storm game and grow as a combo community. If you're a member of our YouTube channel, you should sync your account to Discord to unlock our private member section that has the latest and greatest deck lists, concepts, and much, much more. Let's get back to comboing out. All right, the second round, we're on the play. Deep. We could probably use some more creatures, but I do think that this is actually just a fine hand. We could use more creatures so that way we can eventually cycle into a meaningful copy of Reaping the Graves. But for now, this is fine. Forest. Slivers, okay. So this Exhume is not going to be good for the Reanimator plan, but we can probably use it with Repository Scob, that sort of. Let's go grab our island. Draw. All right. We need creatures. Cycle. Cycle that as well. Okay, I don't hate that. Let's just chain some creatures into Reaping the Graves and everything will be fine. 49 cards in deck. Plains, okay. And there's a Pump Sliver, so we're going up to 2 poisonous, I believe? Or is poisonous the one where it only matters once per hit? I can't remember. I'm about to find out. We have 1 poison, okay. Draw. Swamp. Cycle the Stinger. Cycle Healer. Come on, deck. Be good to me. I think I'm going to wait 1 turn before I cast that Reaping the Graves to see if I can draw more creatures. Back in the day when I was a young, wide-eyed kid, the Hulk Flash deck in Vintage actually won using Virulent Sliver along with the Sliver that gives haste. I think it's called Heart Sliver. And basically you would just get 5 hearts or 4 Virulent Slivers and then Heart Sliver and attack your opponent for lethal with Flash Hulk. It was a wild day. Very different than what you're allowed to do now. But the reason people played it is like people didn't play blockers. So it almost always won. And it was very few card slots in the deck, which was good. Draw. Okay, so we have 5 cards in graveyard. Let's cycle this Architects. Dark Ritual, which will be the card number 7. That way we can Cabal Ritual for full value. I'm going to try to hang on to this Songs of the Damned for now. Alright, so we're turning all 5 creatures here. Alright. Cycle the Dino. Swamp? Not really what we wanted. Let's see if we can find a Repository Scob. That would be very good here. Okay, cycle Horror of the Broken Lands. Dark Ritual. Alright, we need a good draw. 3 chances left to hit. Ploy's okay, but we could just be dead to the... We're dead to the poison. So I actually do need to hit here. Cycle. Battle. And I guess I can pick up the Architect. It doesn't hurt anything. Player land. Cycle the Architects. Celebrant. Alright, so I'm going to play the Ploy. And I think I want to discard the Blood Celebrant. Because that makes the songs make more mana. So that just makes sense to me. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Okay. So I think here we have a tough decision to make. So we need to use one of the blue for Ploy, and I think I want to keep the Lotus Petal around in case I hit the Repository Scob. So I think that means we have to discard Exhume or Dark Ritual. And I think Exhume is the expendable card. All right, so we're going to jumpstart Dihada's Ploy, discarding Exhume, and we hit. All right, so I'm going to discard the Vantasaur here. Now our songs make 9 mana. So this is going to be pretty cool. So we're going to play Repository Scob. We're going to get back Reaping the Graves. And then that Graves can get back Blood Celebrant, which can cast Repository Scob again to get back the Songs of the Damned. Right. Grab Reaping. But I think we're allowed to just return everything here. Like, you could just return the 2 creatures, but I think that's not necessary. The idea behind returning just the 2 is that, excuse me, by returning just the 2 is that you'll always have enough mana to cast the songs for a meaningful amount. That said, we have 11 mana floating. I don't think that's actually going to be a concern. So I'm returning everything because we have plenty of mana. And then I can play the Blood Celebrant. And I could play Stinger here, but honestly, that just doesn't matter. I think we just want to make sure that we win the game. Yeah, I think it's a little bit greedy to play Stinger too early. Alright, so the Cabal Ritual changed that. So now I'm going to play the Stinger. 13 mana is plenty. 10 is a little bit close, but 13's fine. Alright, so let's start winning. Ping. And another one. Okay. Cutting it a little bit close here, but I think we'll be fine. 8 mana, so Zoom. That's interesting. So now I can go down to 5 mana and then Repository Scob back the songs and then Exhume it. There's a song, so I can go even deeper. Let's play another Stinger. Alright, 3 mana floating. Cycle this healer. That'll yield. Cycle the Cardio Dino. Lotus Petal. Let's cycle the healer, going down to 0 mana, but I have this Lotus Petal to cast Songs of the Damned. Cycle Architects. And then cycle Ash Barrens for lethal, just the way that Kuranos, the God of Storms, intended. And we won game number 1. Woot woot! Alright, so non-blue deck, so I'm sorry I'm not boarding in Mirrorshell Crab. Mirrorshell Crab really isn't for these matchups. It's like against non-blue, we just want the dissenters. And I think we board out the Architects. And then probably second island again. Like that submit button. We just don't want to lose to a relic. And dissenters is pretty free. Like it just cycles so easily. Yeah, keep. Basic planes, okay. Bladed Sliver, classic. Draw. Alright, so I'm not sure which. I'm most likely getting Swamp. We need black mana in order to win the game. That said, we don't actually need black mana quite yet because it's not like we're here. So for some reason they did have and they didn't. We could go get the green source for Deliverance. I think we should probably just grab this one. Yeah, I'd rather play it safe. Alright, so we're going to take 2 here going to 18. Ouch. 18 life. Draw. Songs of the Damned, okay. Let's just cycle these now. Okay, cycle. And that's turn 2, so we've already played a land, just past the turn. And the reason I mentioned the land drop thing is if we hadn't played a land, I'd probably cycle the Street Rate. Looks like they might be a little bit color screwed here. Triple Plains. Into another Sinew Sliver. Alright, so we're taking 6 here, which means that they have lethal on their next turn. Even with 1 card in hand. So, how mana screwed they were? I don't know. They definitely opened up the mono white draw. Alright, so we are dead. Cycle Street Wraith, I guess. Jeez. I don't know what to do here. Like, we have ploy to gain a little bit of life, but I don't know. I think I have to burn the songs. Alright, cycle. Cycle the Stinger. So I can burn Dark Ritual here to keep going. We hit the Forest. So I can cycle the Dissenters now, and that would actually gain me an extra life with the ploy. I've played my land. But I can cycle to go get the last basic out, and that gains an extra life. Alright, so now we ploy. Awkward. I think we have to get rid of the Baron more. It's awkward because we need another ritual effect, so that way next turn we can repository scob into song. Part of me wonders if you're just supposed to discard Reaping the Graves here, because then next turn you could cycle a Baronmoor for an extra look at a ritual effect. I think that's probably the play. Right now they have 12 damage. If they have another Lord effect, we're dead. Bodyguard, sure. Okay, so we're taking 12 down to 4. We want to draw a ritual here. Not Stinger. Okay, so let's cycle Stinger. Play the Swamp. Alright, we need songs here. Cabal Ritual doesn't do it. But I could Cabal Ritual into Baronmoor and hope to hit. Come on, Lotus Petal. Technically gives us a little bit of life, but it's not good enough. Gonna need to get lucky off these 3 draws. So we're gonna turn Street Wraith, or that's it. So down to 2 life cycle. Not gonna cycle that. Cycle this. Cycle. Come on, Songs of the Damned. Cycle. Not songs. So we're dead. Alright, game 3, but we get to be on the play. Fast draws out of the Sliver deck. I wonder if this is a matchup where Exhume should actually just be cycled. Because it's not like the Exhume plan's good here anyway. Let's try this out. Game 3 versus Slivers. A little bit slow, but I think that this is probably still a key. Alright, we're just going to thin our deck of basic land. Grab a swamp, pass the turn. We will definitely reach Threshold, I think. Forest. Yeah, no turn 1 Sliver, I like that. Draw. And honestly, I'm just going to go rip those basics right out of the deck. I don't want to draw into them. Basics for days. Look at that. We're already down to 49 cards. All the basic lands in our hand. What more could you want? Basic plains, okay. Gemhide. Okay, so sort of a slow draw from our opponent. Draw. I'm just going to play Swamp Pass, because if they have a Graveyard Hate piece, I don't want to play into it. And these Architects are definitely better than Exhume. I'm just throwing that out there. The Muscle Sliver. And a Sinew Sliver. Okay, so if they play double Lord next turn, that would be 15 damage coming in, which still isn't lethal. Alright, cycle the Architects. Cycle Horror. The Centers is eh. Cycle the Architects. Gob, okay. So we need to hit Ritual and Reaping at this point. I'm just going to play the Forest and pass the turn. Cabal Ritual is a fine draw. Obviously, it's not Songs of the Damned and it's not Reaping the Graves, but it's not terrible. Like, we do need ritual effects to create Storm anyway, so it's fine. And there's another Lord Sliver. And another, okay. And another, you got it. 20 life is it's a lot, but we're still dead next turn. We need to, you know, apply the pressure now. Cycle. Songs is good. Let's cycle this Baron more. Cycle Healer. Okay, come on, Street Wraiths. No point in cycling that. Need a Reaping the Graves. Another Street Wraith. Okay, come on, deck. Be good to me. Cycle. All right, our last draw step. Is it going to be here? Draw. I think we might as well cast Cabal Ritual, because we're dead if we don't hit here anyway. Cycle. Cycle again. And again. Ding! How lucky. So, before we drew this Dissenters, I secretly thought of a plan. And granted, we got super lucky here, whatever. But I was actually going to return this Dissenter's Deliverance with Scob, which is why I left this green mana untapped. I wanted to leave it as a big reveal, but then I went and drew a second Dissenter's Deliverance anyway. So I didn't get to do the cool thing, but oh well. Alright, so let's play songs. And then play the Scob. And we need to increase Storm anyway, so this works out. And now we return the songs. Let's cast this one, and then this songs will do the hold priority trick, and then return all of the creatures that we keep. All right, we'll return triple Street Wraith to start. Okay. Just return a bunch of creatures. We have enough mana to cycle these, so we're keeping this on the stack. All right, keep it going. Down to 8 life. Cycle Horrors. I want to find Blood Celebrant so that way we can replay the Repository Scob over and over. Great draw with the Reaping the Graves. All right, I do like the ploy. Keep cycling. And now the songs is back up to the point where it's making more mana now than it would have. And there's the Blood Celebrant. We're going to let this resolve because I can't cycle any further. And we got a free Dark Ritual out of that. Lotus Petal. Blood Celebrant. Let's add a blue and play Ploy. Discard this Ash Barrens. Play the Petal. Cycle the Deliverance. Keep cycling. Down to 20 cards. Alright, cycle this Healer. Cycle Baron more. And again. Reaping. Alright, so let's add a blue. Play Scob. Sacrifice. Return songs. And now it's just easy peasy. Alright, 39 mana. Let's return the whole team. I guess I lied. We're leaving one of the team members behind. I didn't mean to. It just sort of happened that way. Not a very good teammate, you know? Just very selfish. I returned everybody else other than that lone Drannith healer. Alright, so let's make a red for our Stinger and then start blasting. Alright, 16 cards in deck and 3 of them are additional copies of Stinger. Alright, cycle, picked up as Songs of the Damned. Keep cycling. Cycle the Horror. And again. There's a Stinger. Alright, so we need 7 more cycles after that. Cycle the Street Wraith. Again. Again. Okay. 3 left. Even if I draw the other Stingers, it's like just quicker to keep cycling than it is to cast them. Okay, 1 more after this. And we never drew a different one anyways. It didn't work. It didn't really matter. But that's match number 2. We're 2-0. Still no Mirrorshell Crab. I'm not trying to let you down. It's just sort of happening. I'm not going to board poorly to showcase the card. You don't really want it versus non-blue. It's just the nature of it. You could maybe argue that you want it versus like a bigger black deck, but I don't even know how true that actually is. So let's just enjoy being 2-0 and try to keep winning. Playing your favorite combo deck in Paper just got so much easier with the Epic Storm Mini Token Pack. You can pick one up at theepicstorm.com/shop for $13. It includes 64 double-sided mini tokens. That's 128 tokens total. And they include 10 black, 10 blue, 10 red, 5 green, 5 white, 3 colorless, 20 storm counters. That means that you can count your way all the way up to 20 for Grape Shot, everyone's favorite Stormwind condition, a Galvanic Relay Exile Indicator, 4 treasure tokens for Strike It Rich, and then 10 monk tokens for our vintage friends. It also has Slime Time Live, 8 Progenitor Ooze tokens with the power and toughness already built in to make playing in paper so much easier. No fumbling around with dice. We've got you covered. Make sure to go grab those if you're playing Modern. And then Squirrels versus Goblins, Chatterstorm versus Empty the Warrens, the Battle of the Ages. You definitely need 20 Squirrel tokens and 20 Goblin tokens. You're going to love this mini token pack, I promise. And once again, you can grab that at theepicstorm.com/shop. Match number 3, and we're on the play again. How lucky. Pretty good, we'll keep. Will this be the match for Mirrorshell Crab? Who knows? Forest, okay. Elves. Not likely a Mirrorshell Crab matchup, unfortunately. I feel bad. Like, I want to be playing Mirrorshell Crab, but I'm not going to board it into matchups where I shouldn't. Cycle. Alright, we did not hit land number 2. So the Sentinel will get in and we'll fall to 16 life. Oh, so they're mono green, they're not elves, okay. Oh, another thing is, last match I realized in between rounds, I could have boarded in Moment's Peace versus Slivers, I didn't. Maybe that's what should have been in the deck instead of the Cyclers in game number 3. Who knows? Probably. I don't have strong opinions on it, but we could have boarded in Moment's Peace versus Slivers. And this is a very good turn 2 for our draw. So they are now representing lethal, not this upcoming turn, but the one after. Cycle Street Wraith. I wonder if I should just burn songs to cycle. Probably not. Let's just cycle once. So I could go to 12. So that means I'm dead to a pump spell. I don't want to show them that, so I'm just going to discard. And you could argue that I'm supposed to discard Scob, so that way if I draw Exhume, I can bring it back. But I'm already in a spot where I have to get lucky to win anyway. I'd rather leave myself open to hitting more. So they need +6 to kill me here. It's possible. Right, so it looks like no blocks, any effects. Okay. I'm at 3, so I can cycle the Street Wraith. I'm gonna go to 1 here, cycle. And cast songs. I'm gonna pull the island out of the deck. Alright, play the island. And let's see if I can hit here. Dark Ritual. Cycle Vantasaur. There we go. Cycle. Keep it going. Cycle. Cycle these. Another Horror. Perfect. The Exhume. Love it. Cycle. And another Reaping. That's perfect. Okay, so Repository Scob. Exploit. Get back that songs. Every day we're singing, clearly. Exhume. Whoops, didn't click correct. Exhume. Bring back the Scob. Exploit it. Get back the songs. Cast it. So much mana. And then Reaping the Graves. Yeah, we can return the Scob. It's fine. We're at 1, so I can't return Street Wraiths. But we can always go like Lotus Petal into a healer or find the Dihada's Ploy and gain a bunch of life. Alright. 28 mana floating. Cycle. Okay, I've already played my land, so no need to cycle that. Keep it going. Okay. Keep cycling. Cabal Ritual. Why not? Let's cycle the Baron more. Let's just keep it moving. Alright. Still no healer yet, which is kind of shocking. Alright. Keep cycling. Dark Ritual, Stinger. Still at 22 mana. Cycle. Ball Ritual, okay. And then Reaping the Graves. Return a whole bunch of other creatures. 13 creatures. Okay. I might have misclicked there. I blinked and I'm honestly not sure. All right, we have 20 floating mana. Cycle. Whoops, don't want to cycle that. Okay. For my Cycling Storm videos, one of you fans out there should really just build an automated thing that sees how often I say cycle. It's got to be 200 at least. All right, so we hit a few Lotus Petals. Not a whole lot else. We hit the Ploy. That's good. All right, Cabal Ritual. Let's play Ploy. Oh, our opponent got bored and conceded. Nice. All right. So, am I supposed to board in Dissenters versus Mono Green? I don't know. I really don't. I do think the Exhume package is a little bit weak, so we can maybe board that out. And then board out like one Architects and just board up to 13 lands so that way we're more consistent. Let's try this. And if I get punished for not boarding in the Dissenters, it will be my own fault. Poor Crab just wants to get in on the action. Coach is keeping the Crab on the bench. It just wants to, you know, take its shot in the game, swing the bat, and I won't let it. Just a bad person. Now I'm wondering, like, if I get to match number 5 and there's no appropriate matchups, maybe I just boarded it anyway. I'm not sure. I'm going to keep this against better judgment. So the reason you don't want to keep this hand is there's no cycling creatures. That said, we do have double Barrenmore to help dig us there, and we already have Reaping the Graves, which is a crucial spell in the matchup. Alright, so I'm just going to cycle this Barrenmore. And another land, yikes. So I think I'm going to go... Maybe I want to get the Forest, but then I can't cycle Barrenmore, so that's probably a bad call. Free Emissary, okay. Draw. Moment's Peace. So we're going to go grab the Forest here and then cycle Barrenmore. Okay. Hey, a creature. Woo woo. Our first one on turn 3. Jeez. Okay, so it looks like we're taking 4 here, going down to 14. Nest Invader, okay. 2 cards in our opponent's hand. 1 card. Draw. Alright, I'm just going to pass. Alright, so if it's just 6, I'm going to take it. And that would bring me down to 8 life. What is the 1 card they're holding back? I'm not sure. Like, they're not casting something, and I want to know what it is. Might be like Weather the Storm, actually. Let's cycle a healer. Alright, cycle. Songs, draw. I wonder if it's like a gut shot. Cabal Ritual for turn. Need creatures. So here's a pretty interesting decision where if they don't kill me, am I supposed to just go to 1? If I go to 1, it shuts off Street Wraith from being a creature we can theoretically cycle into. But I might gain an extra turn by not casting the Moment's Peace. I don't know what to do. Do I play towards Street Wraith? I think the answer is yes. All right. Bolt Scourge and still that 1 unknown. Did not draw it. Not looking good for me right now. So this would be 6, which is still enough to shut off the Street Wraith. Alright, so they are now representing lethal again. I'm just going to cast this. All right, so we need to find creatures. Draw. All right, there's one. Dark Ritual. Cycle. Okay, cycle again. 4 creatures. Ball Ritual. Ball Ritual. Petal. We can return all 4 without wasting a Songs of the Damned. And you might argue that, hey, why don't you play Stinger or play Healer and cycle to gain life? That's not really what this game is about. We just need to hit a Repository Scob or another Reaping, that sort of thing. Cycle. Keep it going. Go down to 6. And I'm going to burn a Songs here. Cycle this. All right, we have 3 more chances to hit. Cycle. Technically, I have 1 more island in the deck. Let's pull that out. Mana's not our choke point here. All right, come on, deck. Ooh, I only have 1 more draw. I forgot that I had an extra storm going in. All right, so it's down to just this cycle. And okay, another chance at life. Might as well Dark Ritual, I guess. Cycle Horror. Hey, welcome. All right, let's cast Songs. Can't believe I hit. That was a lucky hit. Return everything. And once again, we have 1 empty return here. Okay, cycle. Another Reaping. It's beautiful. Cycle again. Go down to 4. A Ball Ritual. Cycle. 23 cards left in deck. I think I'm going to hang on to the Street Wraith. For some reason, I just don't want to go down to 4. Or down to 2. We can hang on to that. Cycle. Blood Celebrant. Cycle this Architects. This is the empty one, and then the last one is another Horror. Okay. So cycle this. Boy is great. Cast it. Discard the Ash Baron. Now we can cycle these Street Wraiths. Right, down to 23. We've got it from here. Black mana. Ball Ritual. Blood Celebrant. Cycle the Healer. Cycle Stinger down to 10 cards in deck. Cycle the Vantasaur. Songs. Cycle the Architects down to 8 cards in deck. And our opponent conceded. Okay, we are 3-0. 2 matches left. Let's cast a Mirrorshell Crab. Or, well, maybe not cast. Channel, Exhume. That's what we're looking to do. All right, stick around for the final 2. Hey, you're still watching. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you're looking to make a purchase from Card Hoarder, TCG Player, or Amazon and are looking to support us, you can open up our description down below, and in there you will find our affiliate links. Those same links are found on the homepage of the Epic Storm. But that's not all. We've included a Card Hoarder button on our website that will load the Epic Storm in your Card Hoarder cart to make life simple for you. For once, we are not on the play. Let's see how it goes. Match number 4, and we're going to keep this. This hand's pretty reasonable to me. We just need to find that crucial Reaping the Graves. Another Forest. In fact, this is not a good matchup for us, and it's definitely not the Mirrorshell Crab matchup. Okay, Island Go. Yeah, I love this. So we're going to go up to 3 poison. Pretty scary. We're going to go grab Swamp here. We just need to be able to cycle the Baron more. Alright. Play the Swamp and hope that they just respect us having mana up. They're not going to respect username Bryant Cook, but we can hope that they're afraid of removal. All right. We have 6 poison. And they're just going to pass. We'll cycle Barrenmoor. Island. All right, we need creatures and Reaping the Graves. Barrenmoor, a little bit awkward. Let's cycle Street Wraith. All right, Dark Ritual. Cycle this Stinger. Cycle Barrenmoor. Yikes. Cycle Street Wraith. Come on, give me Reaping the Graves. Doom. Alright, so I guess we put like Street Wraith into play to eat up some damage. Or no, we want the Vantasaur. Thick boy. I've never done this before. It certainly will eat up damage, right? So I think our opponent's dead if they have like... Mindful Croza, I don't think has a printing at common. So I'm trying to think of common effects they would have that would be scary here. Getting in? They're getting in. Okay, we'll block. What's your trick? Okay. Mutagenic growth. So are you trying to trade? Alright, so it cleared it, but I'm still alive. And this is a 4, so I'm dead next turn. Draw. Another Vantasaur. Cycle. Come on. Come on, give me Reaping the Graves, please. Cycle. Architects. Alright, so we'll Dark Ritual and Cycle. Come on, please. Hey, how lucky. Lucky duck. Alright. So I could cast Songs, hold priority and Reaping. I'm just gonna cast it. Alright, so we have to leave 1 creature in the graveyard. We'll return the Street Wraiths. Try to be mana efficient. Alright, down to 12. Cycle. Another Songs is good. Cycle this. Give me a Repository Scob. Let's go. Alright, Lotus Petal. I need that Scob. Or another Reaping. Come on. There we go. I think that's probably going to do it. Ding. Cycle the... Whoop. Cancel. I don't want to cast you. Cycle. Dark Ritual. Let's play the Scob. Sacrifice. Get back Songs. All the mana in the world. Lotus Petal. Reaping the Graves. We've gotten pretty lucky on a few draws today. I'm not going to pretend that's not the truth. Like, we've definitely hit on our final draw. I think that was the 3rd time today. So, running pretty hot. Just going to return everything. And let's just start pinging. We have, you know, a lot of mana floating. Let's just start doing our thing. Cycle down to 6. All right. Down to 4. Down to 2. Just keep pinging. Guess I can play a land. All right, cycle. This is the tedious part. Like, we know our opponent's dead, we just have to click through. But playing this deck, one of my favorite things about it is there's so many micro decisions in every single game to maximize the amount of mana and cards you'll see. And people think it's boring until they play it, and they're just like, oh no, this deck's super fun. And that's the exact type of magic that I love, is where you get rewarded for all these little decisions. And it's not just haymakers that blow each other out. And if you think Storm isn't an interesting deck to play, you've just never played it. And that's just the truth. Because every game is its unique puzzle, especially when your opponent has hate or a really fast clock. Like, those are the games that I really enjoy playing. One has 3 cards left. Alright, cycle healer. And cycle the Ash Barrens, just like Kronos intended. Boom! Game number 1 over Infect. Probably want these moment speeds. Bring in the forest again. Take out the Exhume was really good. It's just it was very situational. I don't think you're supposed to leave that in. And Shaven Architects. Yeah, keep it. So the choke point with this hand, in my opinion, is whether or not you cycle the Ash Barrens for green or black. So I think this is one of those situations where we actually just cycle the healer on turn 1. Yeah, we're gonna cycle. Actually, I don't know. Let's see what our opponent does. Seal of Strength. Right, so they have Giant Growth on the battlefield. Right, cycle the Ash Barrens. I'm gonna grab Swamp. I think we're gonna need to be quick. And if they kill me here, they kill me here. So they have 4 on the battlefield right now. So they'll need another 5. Seal of Strength, so that's 7. Mutagenic Growth would be 9, which would be lethal. Okay. Yep, if you have the growth, you've got it. There it is, we're dead. 10 poison. Not a whole lot I could have done about that. Let's see what our draws would have been. Yeah, we could have, that could have been a turn 3, but they were too fast. So we're just going to resubmit. Not a whole lot I can do there. On the play for game number 3. Unfortunately, I think we have to ship this. I want to keep it, though. This is like the same hand, but slightly better. I think we bottomed the Repository Scob. Alright, opponent also took a mulligan. It'd be nice if they didn't open up on turn 1 Elf, but they probably mulligan to it in this matchup if I had to take a wild guess. Barrymore past the turn. Forest into Elf. Yeah, that's a bummer. Draw. There's Reaping. That's good. Cycle. Land 2. Nope. Pass the turn. There's not. You're not supposed to Dark Ritual there because if you Dark Ritual cycle, you need to keep your storm count high for the combo turn. So you're just like wasting resources, in my opinion. And we might have to go for it next turn. Steal Strength. Okay. Now they're attacking. So they have 6 on the board. They're representing lethal. I think we just have to try to win. Draw. Cabal Ritual. Okay. Cycle. Or not cycle. Cast Dark Ritual. Cycle Stinger. This is card number 5. Alright, so I think you're supposed to cycle the Vantasaur and then cast Songs. Because just casting Cabal Ritual here for no mana isn't going to be good enough. Alright, we need to hit like another Songs. Alright, keep cycling. Alright, cycle. Lotus Petal. Cabal Ritual. I'm going to cycle these Stingers. We have to hit Songs if we want to win. No point in casting Reaping the Graves for like, with no mana floating. Alright, keep cycling. Celebrant's awkward. Cycle. Come on, give me Songs. I fizzled. Such a bummer. So there's a very small world in which I cycle Street Wraiths into Lotus Petal Songs, but even then I have a bunch of creatures in my hand. I think that I'm supposed to just play towards the small miracle that my opponents don't kill us. And I mean, it would honestly take a miracle. But we just didn't find what we needed there. We went, we saw a third of our deck and we saw 1 Cabal Ritual, 1 Songs, 1 Dark Ritual. Not the best, which means that we have 9 rituals in the bottom 2/3 of our deck. Massive Might. So that's going to do it. What does that actually do? +2/+2 and trample. Okay. So we're dead. We're now 3-1 to infect. Kind of a bummer, is what it is. Hopefully we get that Mirrorshell matchup in round number 5. If you're looking for more great Magic the Gathering content, definitely check out the Eternal Glory podcast. It is myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We primarily discuss Legacy. That said, a lot of what we talk about transcends all formats. We're available on all major podcast platforms. The 5th and final match with Cycle Storm, Kamigawa, Neon Dynasty, Mirrorshell Crab. Let's get it. I have no clue what our opponent's playing. We're going to keep this. All right, basic swamp and pass that turn. All right, so we're facing Orzhov. I guess this is a matchup where we can board in Mirrorshell Crab. It's not going to be at its best, but it's honestly fine. And we can use it with Exhume for some scenarios. Like, it's not the worst. Let's cycle the Architects, see if we can hit land 2 here. That is land 2. We'll play it. Pass the turn. Don't want to fill up our graveyard too quickly. Don't want to play directly into the Bojuka Bog. Alright, cycling Ash Baron. Plains, okay. Inspector Gadget. Let's cycle the healer. Okay, 3 creatures in graveyard. I think we just pass the turn. I really don't want to overextend into the Bojuka Bog. Cycling Step. No Bog that turn. 19. Let's cycle Healer. 4 creatures in yard. Cycle Street Wraith. And there it is. Alright, let's go. I'm going to pull an island out of the deck for the ploy. Dark Ritual. And we have Threshold. Cabal Ritual. Lotus Petal. I'm going to cast the ploy now to see if we can hit more creatures for these songs. I'll discard the Exhume. I want to cycle the Stinger. Alright, cycle. Perfect. Cycle. And I'm going to get a little bit dicey here. I'm going to jumpstart the ploy. Guess I discard the horror here because it ends up making 2 mana. Alright, cycle Barrenmoor. Dark Ritual. And I'm just going to cast the song. Okay, so we ended up with 9 Storm. We can return everything. Okay, everything comes home. You don't need to cycle with them on the stack when you have 13 mana. Like, you have plenty. Okay, let's just keep it going. Move, move it along. Exhume. So normally that's a good card against them because it allows you to come back from discard. Here it would require us to play Repository Scob the first time into their likely removal. Alright, that was a good draw. Cycle. We need to find another copy of Reaping the Graves. Cycle Barrenmoor. Ding! Alright, I think we've probably got this now. Okay, keep cycling. 2 black floating. This will bring us down to 1 black floating. Songs of the Damned. Lotus Petal. Blood Celebrant. Let's make a blue. Scob. And this game is just wrapped up at this point. Great, let's return Reaping the Graves. Blue. Scob. Exploit, return songs. And our opponent conceded. Alright, so as promised, I'm going to board in Mirrorshell Crab. I think it's fine here because they're a deck that plays 3 copies of Bojuka Bog in the main deck. Mirrorshell Crab can counter that, but also it counters Spellbomb that they also have in their board, so I think it's fine. I don't know if I like the Exhume playing with it here, but it's honestly okay enough, so we're going to leave it. Um, in the past, I've thought a lot about boarding out Lotus Petal in this matchup because it's not really a speed-based matchup, but it is a part of your mana base, so I don't think that you should. Realistically, I think we take out Architects and maybe one Petal. All right, so it's crab time. Let's see how it goes. Well, this is awkward. Crab is not great in this hand, so we're going to ship this. It didn't even move. Keep, and I think you bottomed the Petal. Basic plane. Inspector Gadget. Draw. Baron more. Pass the turn. Okay. Draw. Another crab. Cycle. Do we hit land 2? We did not. Cycle Street Wraith. Still no land. Pass. Another Inspector. Basilica. Okay. So we'll take one. I guess I could have boarded in Flaring Pain. I didn't think about that in case they have what's it called? I'm gonna Dark Ritual to see if I can cycle a little bit here. Prismatic Strands. Oh. I'm just gonna burn some mana here, I guess. That way I can cycle. Draw didn't really come together this game, that's for sure. Okay. Cycle these dinos. Another crab, okay. Little crab flooded. Pass the turn. Too many crabs. Fair supplies, okay. I don't really blame this hand on the crabs. Like, we're stuck on one land anyway. Oh, come on. We have a full complement of crab. Jeez. Let's cycle the horror here. And unfortunately, we are discarding Mirrorshell Crab and showing it to our opponent. What are you doing over there? Okay. Crab down. And there's the bog. Ah, that's a bummer. Okay, I'm going to concede to that. Our draw just never really did what it wanted to do. I think we're supposed to board in the Flaring Pain. I don't want to, but I think we're supposed to board it in. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm not going to. It's fine. We can beat a Prismatic Strands. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Game 3, Chance at Redemption. Sure. This hand's actually not bad. Opponent takes a mulligan to 6. Is this the game that we put Mirrorshell Crab onto the battlefield? I would like that. Okay. Draw. I think we just cycle for an island and play it. And their end step, I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith, looking for a cycler. Castigate. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith. Okay. The Wraith is better in the graveyard. So it's interesting what they take here. It could be Exhume, it could be Reaping the Graves, I'm not sure. They took the crab. They're afraid of crab. I love it. Okay. I think I'm just going to cycle Barrenmore and pass. Yeah. What is that? Another Castigate. I'm going to cycle. Okay. Reaping the Graves is definitely going to be leaving here. Draw. Alright, so we have another crab. We can counter their next thing into Exhume. Radiant Fountain. Sure. What is that? Dark Ritual. We'll make it look like we drew into it, but we already have it. Get crabbed. No Monarch. Draw. Oh, they're going to get it back anyway. That's kind of a bummer. Alright, well that wasn't as good as I thought it was. Hopefully they can't answer the crab. Oh, that's a beating. Draw. Cycle. Just going to pass. Damn Guardian of the Guild Pact. Ruining everything. They're going to pay the tax for the ward here. 3 cards in hand. They've not played a land yet. I'm very worried about that. Whew, not Bojuka Bog. Okay. So if I draw into Reaping the Graves, we can still win. Alright, come on, deck. Be good to me. Give me Reaping the Graves here. Cycle Stinger. Exhume. A little bit awkward. Draw. Yeah, this is not what we need. Zoom. I could bring back Street Wraith to guarantee that I can take the Monarch. I'm not sure what the play is, if it's Street Wraith or the Crab. I like the Crab, I think, just because it forces them to tap out to kill it. Alright, so they're up to 4 cards in hand. The rest doesn't do anything because my hand doesn't do anything. They took Cabal Ritual, which is pretty scary because I think that means that they're about to have a card that blows me out here. 1 white mana. Cycling Step. 4 mana. Another Guardian of the Guild Pact. Alright, so they are the Monarch. Come on, deck, please. Draw. That doesn't do a whole lot. It gets back Exhume. I think I'm just supposed to hang on to that. Alright, so they've played a land that will not be Bojuka Bog this turn. Pestilence. My time's running out. Go down to 10. I need to draw here, I think. Please. Come on, deck. Draw. I think I'm dead. Because they can swing for 6 that I can't, or they can swing for 4 that I can't block, and then yeah, I'm just dead here. That's a bummer. I mean, we did see 1 copy of Reaping early on, but then I never drew one the rest of the game. I can't block, and then they have Pestilence to finish me off here. Okay. Yep. Alright, so unfortunately this league was a 3-2 and we did not do a very good job of showcasing the Crab. I do think the Crab is insanely good. This just wasn't a great league for it in my opinion. Moving forward, I am interested in just trying pure blue-black. I don't know if we need these cards. I'm unsure. Dissenter's Deliverance really does impress me though as the card that beats Relic. I don't know if we need the Moment's Peace effect. It was pretty good against Mono Green that one round, but I'm interested in your thoughts. A lot of you are probably going to be down on the Crab after a very small sample size of 1 game. Technically it was 2, but I don't think it's a bad card. I actually think it's really, really good. It just didn't look good this league, and that happens sometimes. So it is what it is, but I'm definitely interested in your feedback. And for the, how about, we're going to open this and get a full set of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I'm calling it right now. Oh, I can't believe I was wrong. What were the odds? I'm joking, of course. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.